All right. Welcome to Blue Pill Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. Today is June 14th, 2026. Technically, I believe this will be... Let's see, I did 3 podcasts yesterday, but I'm not sure if I started before or after midnight. So this might be like my 4th podcast for today. I was off yesterday. I had a pretty good day off. Here lately, I hadn't been podcasting as much. I've just been feeling under the weather as far as like, I have autoimmune deficiency, so you guys know how that is. Plus MDD, which mentally causes you pretty much, it's almost like manic depressive. You have like super high ups and then super low lows. Basically, like when I'm in a low, it will cause you, like, you have no interest in doing anything. Makes you just want to sleep all the time, because when you sleep, you don't have to feel. But here lately, I've been trying to get myself out of the muck. So like yesterday, I got up, drank some coffee, was like, you are staying up. You're not going to sleep all day on your days off, you know, because I was getting in this bad habit of just sleeping like crazy, you know. Sometimes I would physically need it with the autoimmune deficiency. I would literally feel like dog shit, you know. But yesterday, let me grab this Gameboy here. Yesterday, I've been made myself drink some coffee and actually stay up and podcast, because I've been needing to podcast more. Here currently, I've been playing this game here, Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. I wanted this game since I was a kid, since like the first time I seen it. And Sammy bought it for me, and she bought it for me and then forgot that she had it, you know. No intro music, by the way. I'm doing a car cast today. I haven't done a car cast in like forever, but I got up a little early and was like, yeah, I had one more podcast in me last night. But Sammy, she was kind of in and out of sleep, and here's the thing, I'm not camera shy. I'm not shy in front of her. I mean, we've been together 10 years, and you guys know me. I used to be like a punk rock singer, so like I can sing in front of people. I mean, I can talk in front of people. I used to be a bartender, so that's not an issue. But I don't know, for some reason, dude, I'm just weird about podcasting in front of her unless she's joining the conversation. Does that make sense? I don't know why it's any different. And it's not just me, though. I mean, like, I've seen other podcasters be like that, of like, what are you doing? Like, get out of the room, you know? And sorry, hang on. And I don't have like another room. Like, I used to have a room back in the day at my old apartment, so now I'm kind of stuck in the trailer. And I don't really have anywhere to podcast. Sometimes, like, on days off, I've went out to my car and just podcasted in the car, you know, if it was something that I didn't need a computer for. So, but we're going to be doing a game review on 102 Dalmatians, Puppies to the Rescue for Gameboy Color. Let me go ahead and plug my stuff real quick, though. So, first thing, I have a game review playlist if you're interested in like retro, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance reviews, because that's what I've been playing here mostly. I'm thinking about getting into PS2. I may or may not. I'm not sure yet. While I was on a little hiatus earlier this year, I started playing PlayStation 2 games, going through the whole Grand Theft Auto series. But that was after losing my job, and I was just kind of down in the dumps and depressed, and it was helping me cope with reality. So, but if you're interested in like retro game reviews as far as those 3 consoles, which it's kind of basically one if you have a Game Boy Advanced, go check out that playlist. And there's also like, I've played whole entire series on that playlist. So there's like a Zelda playlist of all my Zelda reviews for Game Boy Color. In Game Boy Advanced, I have a Harry Potter playlist of all the Harry Potter game reviews. So yeah, go check it out. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. Unfortunately, I do not have any Blue Pill merch yet. I need to come up with a Blue Pill podcast merch, honestly. But if you donate to the channel, it helps pay for pens, papers, notebooks, all that jazz. You will get a Conspiracy Corner bumper sticker. These things are durable as hell. I had one on my old car before it died. It's been snowed on, rained on, sun beating down on it, and it's still held up. And my wife has one on her coffee mug. That thing has been washed 1,000 times, and it's still holding up, so it's waterproof. And you will also get a Conspiracy Corner podcast bookmark. I will sign the back of these unless you don't want me to, which you can message me through Buy Me a Coffee if you choose to donate to the channel. Also, Conspiracy Corner is my other podcast. This is Blue Pill Podcast, but I put everything out under this channel, Blue Pill or Conspiracy Corner, just because I do more Conspiracy Corner than Blue Pill. But yeah, check out that podcast too. Let's get on with the show. So 2 things I want to cover first. Let me go ahead and load this bad boy up. Got a SP here. The opening music is super fucking shrill. So let's just start with that, with just the opening music, so you can hear it. There's a cutscene at the very beginning, which I kind of find amazing. And that's like full blast. You can hear how shrill the music is. So let's talk about the cutscene though. Like, I just showed you the cutscene. I've covered a couple games for game reviews as far as Game Boy Color, because this one's Game Boy Color. It's a clear cartridge. If you don't know, the black cartridges, that means that it's capable of playing on the gray brick Game Boy. Clear cartridge is Game Boy Color only. A lot of people don't know that. So if you ever find a black cartridge, that means you can play it on original Game Boy. You can play it in black and white. I've seen actually a couple games here and there that have actual cutscenes. Like, I think one game we reviewed was Men in Black, the first one. Which, by the way, speak of the devil, I have Men in Black 2. It's Game Boy Color only, so I'm going to be reviewing it because I enjoyed the first one a lot. It's a short game, but it's a decent side scroll. Go check out that review if you're interested in like retro game reviews or Men in Black in general. I will be doing a review on the second one. You don't see it a whole lot, but you will every now and then see cutscenes in Game Boy Color games. The Zeldas had them. Men in Black had one. That one surprisingly had one. When I popped it in and turned it on, I was like, oh shit, there's like an actual cutscene. I think Atlantis had a cutscene too, which I have it for Game Boy Color. I'm stuck on it though. Sadly, that game was so promising, and it seemed like it would be so fun to play, but it ended up just being too fucking hard, you know? But I mean, you got to think, so Disney has like an amazing budget. Back in the day, it was like the main animator, company. You know, you had Disney, WB, which the Men in Black, I think, was WB because it was based off of the cartoon. So, I mean, they have the budget to do this stuff. Especially now with video games. I'm not sure how good their modern games are as far as like quality. But so you have things in, first of all, the game, I bought it for $6. And for $6, you can't beat it, man. I mean, you could see the cover. It's a little worn out at the top. Sun damage, which what that is whenever someone plugs it into their original Game Boy, the top would always stick out. And if they left it on their dashboard, or if they were in the back seat and they were a kid and they left it on near the rear view window or whatever, it's just, you could tell that it was wear and tear from a kid owning it. Like the sticker's a little peeled. It's got artwork of like the town. I think it's based in like, what was 101 Dalmatians was based in London. Was it London or Paris? It might have been Paris. So $6, dude, you can't beat it. Like as soon as I seen it, usually what I do is I go to the local game store, CM Games, shout out to them, and they got like little crates full, these little boxes, these little Tupperware things full of tons of Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy games. And then you got the higher end ones under the glass case, which sometimes I'll buy those, but I'll walk out sometimes of these used game stores with like 5 or 6 games, like $5 a piece and shit sometimes. And I mean, good fucking games. Like, check out the game reviews. I mean, you see what I'm getting. So $6, you can't fucking beat that. So first boss fight, I want to talk about that. It kind of reminded me of Donkey Kong. There is boss fights in this game. Like, you fight the two brothers, what's his name, Horace, and it's Horace, not Horus like my cat. My cat's named after the Egyptian god. It's the English style Horace. Horace and the other guy, I can't remember the other guy's name. So they're villains in this game. Let's talk about the story a little bit. So I'm not sure how accurate this is to the 102 Dalmatians, Puppies to the Rescue storyline as far as the movie, because I haven't watched that movie. I think I've watched it one time in my life. And even as a kid, I didn't really like it that much. Like, Disney, a lot of people don't know this. I was watching a little documentary about Disney last night, and Disney at one point was kind of going under, and they teamed up with the CIA. I know this sounds crazy. I wasn't planning on getting into conspiracies, and they ended up becoming really big. Obviously, they became a propaganda arm. But during the 90s, as a 90s kid, I remember that Disney was pushing out tons of sequels to everything. So everything had a sequel. Like, they took all the classics and made sequels to them. So Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, 101 Dalmatians. I think it was just like cash grab, because all the sequels were kind of like horrible. I don't think it was like any of the original animators, you know what I mean? They just thought like it was a good idea to make sequels to everything. And I kind of don't like it, because most of the original Disney stuff is based off of Grimm's fairy tales, you know, or actual classic literature. So the storyline is like Cruella de Vil kidnaps the puppies again, but she owns a toy factory. So this is where it gets weird and trippy. So like, while you're fighting, your enemies are like little Cruella de Vils and like remote control cars, bouncing gnomes. It's fucking, it feels like a fever dream playing it. Then you have these little drones that fly around and like shoot laser beams at you. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, was the movie like this? Because this is like literally a fever dream. And Most of the levels, by the way, are super repetitive. Like I said, like you do have boss fights here and there that kind of, I think there's like, I fought Cruella de Vil last night, and you have to like shoot, you have to bark at her. So it's it reminded me a little bit of Lion King. Lion King. So I have Lion King for Sega Genesis. Let's go on a little Lion King rant for a second. Like I said, this is a podcast, so it's kind of loosey-goosey. I had someone comment one time, what the fuck did I watch? And I'm like, a podcast? Like, I sit here and talk video games and shit, you know? It's okay to get off subject. It's a podcast. Sit down and chill out, you know? Or put it on while you're working. Lion King, like the Sega Genesis one. I had the Sega Genesis one and the original Game Boy one, the gray cart. The Sega Genesis one within itself was like, it's renowned to be one of the most hardest games out there. And I don't know if they slipped up, because game creators back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, they had this thought process, and there's actually like a famous story how Echo the Dolphin, I have it for Game Boy Advanced. It's like Sega Smash Pack. It's got it in multiple games. But anyways, the dude who created Echo the Dolphin, where they had Blockbusters and video game rentals, he came up with the idea of like, let's take this game that is awesome, which Echo the Dolphin is an awesome game. But instead of making it like a normal game of just average difficulty, he ramped up the difficulty like sky high, because in his mind he thought, well, it'll keep kids renting it, and because they got a percentage of it back in the day, I guess they would get a percentage of the rentals, you know. So, and this was kind of the downfall of a lot of older games, is what they would do is just amp up the difficulty level, because in their mind, and it makes sense, like make the game super difficult so that way, because you only got a game like 48 hours if you rented it, it keeps them coming back and re-renting it until they beat it, and hopefully your file is there, and if your file's not there, then you know, then you got to restart it, because that was one thing I remember. We would rent N64 games, you know, and like be playing it and then like have to return it, and then like we'd get it back next weekend, and I'm like, hopefully it's still there and someone else didn't rent it. But if someone else did, your file might be gone if they were a douchebag and deleted it. Like, oh no, I want file slot 1. We always put it in slot 3 because I was like, okay, that's least likely to get deleted, you know. So this is pretty much like styled a lot after Lion King. Oh, by the way, if you guys thought the Sega Lion King was hard, dude, play the Lion King for Game Boy, regular Game Boy. It is like 10 times harder. It is so fucking janky. I picked it up for $5, and I don't plan on trading it, because it's almost like, sometimes I like to play it just to get pissed off. That's how fucking hard it is. And the controls are janky as fuck, but same concept. Instead of a little puppy, or instead of a little cub, you're a puppy, and you can bark. Your bark is like your attack. It's like a projectile attack. There's no slashing. You just jump around. It's a side scroll. But here's the thing though, with this 102 Dalmatians, they actually fixed it. It's like a better version of Lion King, you know. So I opened up the podcast letting you guys hear that horrible janky music. I do have to say this, the music in the game is not that bad. It's actually kind of catchy. I would catch myself like humming it, like once I figured out the musical notes and progression in my head, I found myself like humming it and stuff. But the levels are Not gonna lie, very repetitive. Like I said, it's kind of based in a toy factory. The bosses, they throw in a boss like every so often, so that kind of changes it up a little bit. But I have to say the levels are pretty repetitive. Like the backgrounds are pretty much the same. They do switch up like different obstacles you have to overcome in the levels. Like you'll find yourself, I kept getting stuck on, they have trampolines, and I couldn't figure out, like, you have to push the A button when you come down on the trampoline at the perfect time to like popcorn yourself. I don't know if you guys have ever played on a trampoline, but if you play on a trampoline with 2 people, if you come down at the perfect time, they call it popcorning, it'll launch the other person. You have to come down like right before them, and then they come down and it launches them like twice as high. It's actually kind of scary when you get popcorned, because like you don't really have much control. You'd have to feel it. Like if you've never played on a trampoline, like go play on a trampoline, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But those were kind of difficult and aggravating, and I ain't gonna lie, this is a password system. And the way you can tell if a game's automatically going to be a password system is the top will be completely clear. If it's not, if it has a save system, this will all be filled in with microchip. And on the front side, you will have like that circular, I think it's like a C-type battery, which those are starting to die now. But they have like game shops where you can actually pick up a C-type battery and open the game up, and solder it yourself. I seen my brother solder me. I had Final Fantasy Legend 2, and we took the saving battery out of a game that I didn't like. It was Monster Rancher, which all it was literally Solomon's Club, but shittier. And I didn't know that, because back in the day we didn't have internet. You just kind of bought a game because the cover looked cool, and I was a fan of Monster Rancher, so I was like, this will be cool. It was nothing like the show. It was literally a Solomon's Club clone, and I was so disappointed because I'm a big fan of Solomon's Club. I actually have it for Game Boy. Maybe one day I'll do a review on it. It's kind of like a Zelda clone. Well, it's not a Zelda clone, but they were copying Zelda as far as like, you're this green elf, you have to save fairies and fight monsters, collect items. They were copying Zelda, but it was side scroll, like puzzle platformer. Which, by the way, this game reminded me a lot of Solomon's Club. I don't think I've had much else to say on... Oh, I watched my brother... Let me finish that story real quick. Anyways, though, I did watch my brother, like... And he was just a teenager. He's like, it might ruin both games. And I'm like, I'll take the chance. Because I really wanted to play Final Fantasy Legend 2, but it didn't have a saving battery. So every time I'd play it... By the way, who is that stupid that they took out a saving battery from Final Fantasy Legend 2? Like, what better game were you trying to put the battery into? Like, I don't understand. That one blew my mind. But Final Fantasy Legend 2 is like one of the best Game Boy games, RPGs out there. If not the best Game Boy RPG. But yeah, he took a wood burner and he melted a little bit of the metal and got it in there, and it fucking worked. It worked. It didn't get janky until like a decade later, but I mean, it fucking worked. But anyways, so this game is a password system, but the passwords are pretty simple. Like, I'll show you right here. They're only like 4 symbols, and they're not letters, so they're easy to memorize. So like, as a little kid back in the 90s, I would imagine like it would have been pretty easy with a fresh brain and non-burnt out to be able to like memorize passwords of like, oh, I made it to level 6. I gotta just remember dog bone, dog bowl, a toy sign, and then a domino, you know. That's easy to remember, you know. And it's 4. I love when it's only like 4 symbols because then I can remember it. I've played, unfortunately. Damn, this dude's like hitting his button 1 billion fucking times. Okay, bro, you got a Cadillac. Cool. Fucking weirdo. Oh, but I've played tons of games on this channel. I have a shit ton of game reviews, obviously, if you go check out the playlist, but a lot of the games I have played were password systems, and some of the passwords were fucking ridiculous. Like, there's a password system for battle bots, which is one that I'm going to review probably in the future if there's enough content, because it does seem like a short game that you can beat literally in one sitting, like an hour or 2, and you can beat the game. So there might not even be enough content for it. Whoa. Somebody just smashed into something. This is why I kind of like podcasting. Hang on. Here. Yeah, they stopped their car right there. They just ran something over or hit something. I kind of like podcasting out in the wild sometimes because now they're just driving off. They're out of here. I don't know what they hit. I think they ran. There's a stop sign with a wheel on the bottom of it. I think they ran it over and just drove the fuck off. That was crazy. This is why I love podcasting sometimes out in the wild. You got this crazy guy behind me who's pushing his button 1 billion times. Then you got this motherfucker running over a stop sign and dragging it through the parking lot. Like, this is excitement, you know? But battle bots, man. Like, the password system doesn't even work. I tried it like 2 or 3 times because I thought maybe I just wrote something down wrong. It was literally, I counted, I think it was like 20 different letters, numbers, and symbols that you have to type in just to get your file back. Because I'm the type of guy who likes to save after every single level. So what I would do is, like, I would beat a level on battle bots and write down the password, and it was like 20 different things, and I'm like, no. So I looked up, I'm like, how long is this game? And people were beating it within like 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm just gonna, on a day off, just sit here, plug the SP in, because it's nice that it has like a plug that you can plug it in. You don't gotta kill your battery. And I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here for 2 or 3 hours and just beat the motherfucker. But yeah, this is a password game. So here's the crazy part. I wanted to finish my cigarette and roll up the window because there's someone right there. Here's the crazy thing though. This game has 17 fucking levels. So I cannot tell you the complete length of the game. I would have, just off the top of my head, what it felt like was probably about a 3 or 4 hour game, which is pretty impressive for a little kid game. The difficulty is difficult. I ain't gonna lie, dude, I did have to skip a couple levels here and there just because I did want to play the game until the end to give it a proper review, but it's not impossible. It's just there are levels here and there. Like, there's an ice level that fucking sucks. Everybody knows what I'm already talking about if you're an old school gamer, like, of when you jump and you slide off the thing and then you have to start all the way back over to reach your way to the top. What I was saying earlier, it reminded me a little bit of Solomon's Club, because like what you have to do is you have to collect a key, and then once you have to collect the key, you have to rescue 8 puppies. And then once you rescue 8 puppies, you beat the level. but you also have to bark and do projectile attacks on toy enemies, which is weird. But yeah, it's a decent game. I could see a little kid having a lot of fun with it. And me as an adult, as a retro gamer, I had fun. I'm honestly, this one, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, and but it's not shit. It has like a little bit of story. There's dialogue in between. You get to choose your puppy. You can choose, I chose the skinnier one. And then there's the chunky one. You guys know the one I'm talking about. The chunky one. The chunk-a-monk of the bunch, if you know 101 Dalmatians. But try it out. It's fun. It's a decent game. It's a good side scroll for $6. You can't beat it. If you like retro gaming, you'll like it. And also, when you beat the game, it has 2 little mini games at the end. There's one that's like a card matching game. And then there's another one where you have to like move these levers to match colors. I don't know. It was cool. It was decent. But let me know what you guys think. I told you guys I was going to review this game. I'm sorry it took so long, but I've been down in the dumps and it took me a minute to get myself out of that, you know. But yeah, there's your Blue Pill podcast. There's your game review. And there's more to come because I've been playing games again. So I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe, and y'all have a good day.